communities and some things we need to prevent violence, right? So we have to, one of the things we have to do is improve the physical environment, right? You go out La Jolla, Del Mar, different places where these beautiful communities are, greenery everywhere, beautiful buildings, no buildings broke down, no graffiti or anything, right? So one of the ways that we have to address this, we have to improve the quality of our neighborhood buildings, right? And housing, creating public spaces with ample lighting suitable for pedestrians and traffic can be cost-effective ways of decreasing community violence. Having prevalence of greenery spaces in our neighborhood, beautiful places. Research and data has shown that when you do that, that helps in the mindset to bring serenity, right?
Yeah.
You know, address the trauma and so on, right? Also, you know, programs like what we have, you know, street outreach, we need that. People like us who live that life can go back. You need that. We need our youth to be engaged, right? They need engagement and support. Because just like I'm talking about this trauma, you can't just say, even though it meant another way, I'm just using it, physicians heal yourself, right? Even though when Yahshua said that, he meant it a different way. But we want them to heal themselves, right? They're not able to do that. You know, especially when we talk about our young males, they account for a disproportionate amount of violence in our communities. And the way we reduce that is, you know, we're talking about youth employment, you know, mentorships, training, educational support, behavioral interventions, some of the things we're trying to provide. We got to reduce substance abuse. See, God is the answer for all of this, a lot of this stuff, right? Because I abuse substance, but when I got saved, God delivered me from it.
Yeah.
That's why we don't condone. I don't condone smoking marijuana or anything. All of that is sin and evil and wickedness. When you look at research that is done, the mass majority of people that committed violent acts, they were high on something.
Yeah, under the influence of a substance.
That's right, under the influence of a substance, right? And so we also have to mitigate financial stress, right, in our community. That's what I'm talking about with the poverty that we were dealing with. And we're not talking about just short-term assistance, right? But we're talking about really getting in there and people that are experiencing negative income shocks are less inclined to behave violently when they receive timely financial assistance. And so that's one of the things we're trying to do, right? Reduce the harmful effects of the justice system. That has hurt us too. Right? The judicial process must be viewed as legitimate for community members to engage effectively with law enforcement reducing violence. If people don't trust law enforcement and trust the system, they're not going to call you. They're not going to talk to you. They're not going to share nothing with you. They don't want to hear it. We'll just deal with street justice or leave it to the streets or leave it to God. But we ain't talking to you. So we do have to address that, right? Research suggests that community safety is supported when a justice system operates with transparency, openness, and consistency and trust. And when the police departments are willing to address complaints from the community. Otherwise, the community is not going to trust you. And then the other is confront the gun problem, right? We have a serious gun problem. Violence has been reduced by policy mechanisms that limit access to guns. And right now, we have a problem with these ghost guns. These guns, ghost guns, are those guns that they put together themselves, where it shows them how to do it themselves. Oh, yeah. And you can't even trace these things. And I was told that for every legally manufactured gun, you find these illegal manufactured guns in our communities now. We got to address those issues, my brothers and sisters. I'm talking about a remedy to a deadly pandemic.
That's true.
Hallelujah. To address the whole man. Hallelujah. So to prevent gang violence, number 3, and this is the last one on that, understand why there is a lack of trust in law enforcement by communities impacted by gangs. Look at this. The national homicide rate is about 5 per 100,000. That's the national. The national, for the rate of young Black men in the deadliest neighborhoods can reach 500 per 100,000.
Whoa. You're
talking about from the national 5 per 100,000 on the national homicide rate, but for Blacks in the deadliest communities, 500 per 100,000, right? Even within this high-risk demographic, gun violence is further concentrated among a very few people. And that's why I'm thanking God for Monica Montgomery Stepp, the only politician in this city that I know of is trying to address that. The rest of them is talking about COVID-19. The rest of them talking about immigration. The rest of them talking about women's rights and all these other kind of things. But you're not talking about this violence that is destroying us. But my sister and her staff, my sister Montgomery, I'm talking about politicians. She's the only one that I've seen that's boldly done it and stepping up to the plate to want to do something. So we thank God for her. Lord, protect her and keep her. Hallelujah. Nationally, 76% of all homicide victims were killed with a gun. And this is a society that's crazed with guns. Give me James 3:18.